live, and I'm not planning on doing a very long video. My name is Sandra Gregston, and uh, I'm not doing a long video. I think the last video I did was like an hour and a half long. It was quite negative. Um, I'm just going to give it to you real short and straight. This job market, you're going to have to learn a hobby, learn a skill, and try to sell it. And if you're looking for like a regular traditional 9 to 5, 9 to 8 job, W2, you might decide to start cold calling companies, because there's two type of jobs that baby boomers are not really going to understand what they are. But baby boomers are out of touch with reality, and they think that this is your grandma's job market, and they don't understand, if you've been unemployed for 6 months, why can't you get a job? So there's ghost jobs and fake jobs. So fake jobs are just companies that, okay, I think that's a plane and not, I think that's a plane. We have March Air Force Base real close, and back in the 80s, before it became a reserve, there were planes going out of it all the time. And then I want to say it was like 93, 94, 96, somewhere in there. It could have been Clinton. Shut down the base and it became a reserve. But the jets used to go out all the time. And I think that's a jet and not thunder. It is raining, but rain in Southern California is like mist. And we're like sissies out here. We're like, oh God, it's rain. And it's like, no, it's mist. It's not rain, it's mist. So now that because I didn't know what that was, now let me get back on track. So there's ghost jobs and fake jobs. A fake job is where a company will pretend to be a company, and they're posting something up. They only want your data. They want your name, they want your email, they want your age, they want your city, they want your address, they want your data, and then they can sell your data to a data broker. That is a fake job. A ghost job is where a company will tell their employees and potentially their shareholders, oh yeah, we're going to hire more people. We know you're overworked. Yeah, we're going to hire more people. We know you're overworked. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're posting. We're going to hire more people. And they go on in LinkedIn and Indeed and Monster and all that and everything. And you got all these job openings open, and the baby boomers and the people that are retired, or the people that are disabled, or the people that don't need to work, and they're just, they don't need to work. And I'm not talking about YouTube creators or people hustling to do whatever, like Uber, which is not, to me, a real job. It's a gig. It's a gig, right? You're hustling. So, I'm not talking to those people. I'm talking about the people that are standing back saying, why can't you get a job? What's wrong with you? That's what I'm talking about. Usually the baby boomers do it, or the people that are disabled, or the people that are just, I'm married, I got a husband, I don't need to work. My husband works, he takes care of me. I don't need to do anything. I'm just a little old woman here, and my husband just takes care of me. I'm just like, I'm done with those people. So they stand in judgment of the people that are trying to find jobs because of these ghost jobs, where an employer will put up a job and they have no intention of hiring anybody. No intention of hiring anybody. And this happened twice. It happened with an employer in, what was it? Salvation Army, and it was Stater Brothers. Got an MBA. There's a lot of MBAs that are working in warehouses now. I would not tell anybody to go to Amazon. They do make you hold your urine. They do. They will tell you to hold your urine until your break, which is illegal. But they will tell you to do that. At least they used to. I don't know about now. Maybe it's different. I don't know. But I will never work for Amazon again, and it's not my skill set. you know, I I don't work in warehouses. I work in offices. That is my work history, and I really hurt my back when I worked for not UPS. What was it called? FedEx. I even asked FedEx, and this was what six years ago, or something like that. Can I move to a different position because these boxes are very heavy? They're 50 pounds. I'm lifting them. I can't. And they were like, "No, I'm sorry. This is the only position we have." And I'm like, "Well, I don't know what to tell you. I can't keep on, doing this and stuff like that." So be very careful. If you know you're not physically capable, then don't apply, because your health is not, you're worth more than that. And I learned the hard way. But these ghost jobs basically is an employer is telling their current employees, yes, we know you're overworked. We're going to hire someone. We know that you're overworked. We got job ads up. We're hiring someone, but they have no intention of hiring anyone because they want to appease and they want to make their shareholders happy. And they also want to make the media look like they're hiring. So they put all these ghost jobs up and they have no intention on hiring at all. They may sell your data to a data broker, but they're just doing it to make it look like to the media, oh, look, we're hiring. Look, we have so many customers and we have so many businesses booming. So the media says, well, look, I understand why these people can't get jobs. They're all hiring. They're fake or ghost jobs. Fake jobs is an employer that it could be 1099 and they're pretending to be W-2 and they're telling you that you're going to get a weekly paycheck, and then you clock. If they tell you when to clock in and they tell you when to clock out and they tell you how to work, they tell you where to go, they tell you you need to do this way, do this way, they tell you when you need to clock in, they tell you where you need to show up. That is not 1099. That is W-2, and they have to either pay you an hourly wage or salary, which I don't know what the salary is. You have to look it up. I believe on the labor board. I think it has to be like 1,500 a month, or 1,500 a week, or 1,200 a week, or something. There's a certain salary that you need if you're paid a salary, and it doesn't matter how many hours you work, you still get that salary. And these companies, a lot of these fake companies will pretend like they're W-2, and then they say, oh no, you're 1099, but they're misclassifying you as a 1099 because they don't want to pay you an hourly rate. And you end up clocking in 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning. You go to yay, all these sales meetings, yay, park your car wherever they tell you to park, and then you park over here in this city over here, and then you carpool with them over here to this city. And if you have an emergency call, your kid or your brother or your husband or whatever, and you're in this city and you're like, I need to get back to my car, or I have an emergency. And they're like, sorry, dude, we're working from 11 a.m. till 7 o'clock at night. We're knocking on these doors. And you're like, yeah, I need to go. So, it's like, I don't do those jobs where they say you carpool and you park, and it's like, no, no, you're taking my power away from me. It's like, no way, I'm not doing that. Not at 50. No, maybe you can let the 21-year-olds and the beep do that, the 22-year-olds, but not at 50. Sorry, not going to do that. I had the blinders on, when I was 18, when I got those fake jobs offers, and they were saying that they were hourly, and they turned out to be not hourly. And so I'm not going to go back to 1993. So basically, if you are looking for work, you are up against a job market to where there is one job opening in Department A at Company A, and you apply to that one job opening, but so did 500 other people. And the company is not going to take that job down from that job board. They're not going to do that. That's exactly what happened with Stater Brothers and with what is it called? Stater Brothers and Salvation Army. I called both of them about a week ago. And those retail jobs or low level, low skill jobs where you don't need a degree, they're not going to take them down. They're not. So if you are applying to company A in this section, okay, that's in sales, or that's in their marketing department, or that's in their, I don't know, in their investigative department. One position. It depends on what kind of a position it is. If it's a low skill position where you don't really need a whole lot of skills, cart fetcher. I don't even know what you call those people. I don't know what you call them, but a person that gets the carts. I think they're called a courtesy clerk. Or cart person. I don't know what they're called, but they're a high turnover rate. They're not going to take down the job ad. They're just going to leave it up. And so you're thinking, okay, I'm going to apply to this job. Fine. You applied to that job on the 1st. So did 500 other people. But the company is not going to do what they should do. Okay. What they should do is, okay, I'm going to leave that job opening up. I'm going to leave it up. And they could take it down, take the whole ad down, or just say, it'll say on Indeed or on ZipRecruiter, this employer is no longer accepting applications. It's in top in red. This employment opportunity is closed. So you'll see the ad, but it's in red at the top. This this employer is no longer accepting applications as of January 15th, 2025. So you can't even apply. Even though you see it up there, you can't apply. And these companies don't want to spend the money taking the job ad down because they know that Joe Smo is probably going to quit 2 or 3 or 4 months later as soon as he finds a job that's making $1,000 a week instead of making $500 a week. As soon as that person finds another job, they're out, and that company is gonna leave that job ad up. They're gonna leave it up. So, baby boomers do not understand this. People that are married and I don't need to work. My husband works. I don't need to work. You're married. You don't understand. You're disabled. Sorry, you don't understand. You're out of touch with reality. So, of course, a job seeker is not going to apply for one job. One job. You're not going to do that. So you're applying to this company and you applied to 3 different positions within that company. Okay, fine. So did 500 other people apply for that one position. So you applied to one position here, 500 people. You applied to another position here, 500 people apply. You applied to another position here, 500 people apply. You applied to another position here, 500 other people apply. You get the point. For each position that you apply to every day or every month or whatever, 500 other people apply for the same position. Now, the more skill that is required in those positions, if there's maybe a particular AI skills are very hot right now. I know ChatGPT, I'm learning how to prompt. If you know how to prompt ChatGPT or these other, Copilot is another one. I particularly don't like Copilot because it really doesn't do it for you. You could ask, can you find all the redundancies in this document for me and remove them? It will point out the redundancies, but it won't remove it for you. You got to do that part yourself. So that's nice that it points out the redundancies if that's what you ask it to do. So if you ask it, can you shorten this, or can you lengthen this, or can you make this more clear? It will do it on the side for you, but it won't do it for you. You still have to like copy and paste or hunt and peck and say, okay, here's the next, here's the next, here's the next. At least that was my experience using Copilot on Microsoft Office. That was my personal experience. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. I want something to do it for me. I don't want to have to put it in and say, oh, there's all the redundancies. Okay, now I'm going through and looking and deleting all the redundancies because I don't need redundancies in my resume. It just makes things harder for recruiters to read, and they only have 6 seconds to read it, and that's it, and you're done. So let's see. I don't have notes with me in front of me, so I'm trying to remember just from memory. I was told from Salvation Army, their position, I think it was called sales associate or something. They said, oh, we never take that position down. And he said, the counselor position, you need to have a drug and alcohol license. I said, I don't. He said, well, that's the number one thing. I said, I have experience, but not the drug and alcohol license. He said, well, that drug and alcohol license is needed. And he said, now those type of positions we do take down because they're not high turnover rate positions. People don't typically quit a drug and alcohol counselor position. They're not high turnover rate positions. So he said, I could send your resume off and your application off to that person for the counselor position, but I guarantee you, he's like, I guarantee you, you're probably not going to get a call because you don't have that drug and alcohol license. And he said, now the other position, that sales associate position, we never take those down. And he said, I think 200 people applied for that one position. And I want to say I called about with the last week of January. And here we are the second week of February already. So, and it was almost the same thing as Stater Brothers. The only difference with Stater Brothers was they said, well, we got to wait until after the holiday. And silly me, be very careful when you call employers. Be very careful. I said, what holiday is in February? And they said, well, for us, Super Bowl is a big day. Of course, everybody's going to be buying everything. They're going to be extremely busy. They got to stock the shelves and make sure customers are happy and whatnot on Super Bowl. And he said, we have to wait until after Valentine's Day. And that's when we look at the applications. And he said, we're not going to make any phone calls until after the holiday. Now, he didn't mention them, but today's a holiday. Today's Lincoln's holiday. So the county of Riverside is on holiday today. The USPS is open because I went there today, took care of some business today. But the county is closed today. So I'm thinking maybe the state is closed, but USPS is open today on the 12th of February. It is Lincoln's birthday. And then we got another holiday, another federal holiday coming up on Monday. It is President's Day, the Monday the 17th. So county, state, federal, I'm sure USPS will be closed on the 17th of February as well. And I've had a lot of nonprofit experience. So all this nonprofit experience, you're expected to work every single holiday, every single Christmas, every single weekend, every single Friday, every single Saturday, every single Sunday, Thanksgiving, New Year's, Christmas Day, New Year's Day, 4th of July. It after a while it gets ridiculous. After a while, you're just like, I'm done. It's like, no, I'm not going to continue to work every single holiday and every single weekend. It's like, no. So I'm assuming that company was Stater Brothers. I'm assuming he wasn't just talking about we have to wait until after the 14th because they're going to be busy because people are going to be buying chocolates and balloons and roses and all that for Valentine's Day. I'm assuming they're probably going to want to wait until after the 17th. And he said, those are open door positions. Those positions we never take down. And I said, so you're telling me that it's cheaper for you to leave the job ad up. And even though you have the job ad up, you may not be actively hiring for that role. And he said, correct. We may not be actively hiring for that role because it is a way for us to get ahead of the game. And we have a stack of applications at the ready for when someone does quit or get promoted, or someone, like, say someone moves away. So they are in Temecula and they move away to Jurupa Valley. Well, there's a Stater Brothers in Jurupa Valley. So they can transfer from Stater Brothers to Jurupa Valley, but now there's an opening in Temecula. So now they can pull from that stack of applications that they have, even though they weren't hiring a week ago. Now that that person left, now they're hiring. They're not going to close the application. They should. It should say this company is no longer accepting applications for this role as of February 1st, 2025. And then they can take it off and, whatever, and they can open it up again. But they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. They want to have a pile of resumes at the ready, even though they are not hiring. And that is a ghost job. When a company is actually not hiring and they just want a stack of resumes at the ready, it's called pipelining acquisitions. It's not an open acquisition. If it was, they would be hiring right then and there, and there would be a budget for that role. But and it helps the employer, but it hurts the people that are looking for work. It really does hurt. And the fake jobs are the ones that just want your data. They're not a real company, and they pretend to be a real company, and they just want your data. They don't want anything else. So that's why job seekers are so exhausted, because it takes a lot of phone calls, and you better have $40 laying around every month for LinkedIn Premium, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to find the people that are looking at your profile. You're going to be very limited on the people that are looking. I think you could find maybe the first 5 people that looked at your profile. But if you have 100 or 150 people looking at your profile every week, or maybe once a month, I think maybe you're limited to 5 or 10 people looking at your profile, and that's it. You just can't see everybody looking at your profile, and you want to know who's looking at your profile so you could contact them. And I think LinkedIn Premium is just a little bit too much money. At $40 is a lot of money. And I'm a master manifester. For 3 months, somebody has paid my rent for me here. 3 months. And 1 government agency and 2 nonprofits. And, there's a lot of stereotypes. There are really, really bad stereotypes in America. And I would say all over, but America, it's really bad. And it's assumed that if you can't find a job, you're a drug addict. And I have a list of the silos. I don't know where they're at. I might have gotten rid of the paper. Let's see. I wrote down Venus because I'm still studying astrology. And let's see. Do I have the paper? I don't think I do. No, I don't think I do. Is this it? I don't think this is it. No, this is something else. No, this is something else. I don't think I have that paper with me. But there's a big assumption that if you cannot find a job, you must be a drug addict or something's wrong with you. And you really just have to change your whole entire identity. You really need to pretend to be someone else that you're not. So, because not everybody has a family. Not everybody has a mom or a dad to say, or an aunt or an uncle to say, hey, I have this job interview to go to and I can't miss it. Do you have $5? Do you have $10 for gas? And if it's in like another county, you're not going to be able to take a bus to get there, because if your interview's at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock in the morning and you need to leave at 7 o'clock to take a bus to get to the next city, and then you need to take that bus to go over to the next city in the big city in the next county, but you need to go east to get there, and then that city has a bus to go west, but in that other county. You could be getting there around 2 or 3 in the afternoon for your interview instead of 11 a.m. Just in as example, Paris, California, to Riverside. Riverside County is not San Bernardino County. So if you need to go to Rancho Cucamonga or Ontario, you better find someone with gas money to give you gas money, or you better have a friend that's able to drive you up to Ontario or Rancho Cucamonga, because it is 32 miles away or 35 miles one way, which is nothing. It's a drop in the bucket. Are you kidding me? I used to drive to Pomona all the time. Are you kidding me? I drive to Pomona, from Paris to Pomona all the time back in, I don't know what year it was. Was it 2014, 2013, 2012? I don't know. It was back in the day. But, and it took me 2 hours to drive from Paris to Pomona. It took me 2 hours. I left at 12 noon. I got there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So if you're needing to get to Ontario or Rancho Cucamonga, and you have a car and you have gas, and gas is not an issue for you, fine. But not everybody has a family. So if you're going to take a bus, this is the problem where people assume, can you take a bus to get to work? Do you want people to just be limited? Why in the world would you want people to limit themselves? Like, do you want me just to apply to jobs in the city I live in? Do you think I'm retarded? I mean, I really don't understand. Why would you want people just to limit their job search to the city they live in only? People don't do that when they have skills. They're going to apply where they're qualified. And if I'm qualified for a job in Escondido, I'm going to apply for a job in Escondido. So for like San Bernardino County, okay, I would take a bus, go to Riverside. That bus may not get there until 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning. And then that bus goes to San Bernardino east. It goes east to San Bernardino. It'll get there 10 o'clock. Fine. Now you got to wait 1 hour. Then you got to wait until 11 for the next bus to come, and it'll drop you off in Rancho. It'll drop you off maybe an hour and a half later. So 12:30. So you'll get to Ontario 12 or 12:30. There is no bus from Riverside to Ontario. You have to go to San Bernardino east and then all the way back to Ontario, California. And I don't know how far San Bernardino to Ontario is. So these people that don't know you, they don't freaking care, because they assume if you're calling churches, like I was cold calling churches, they assume you're on the street. They assume you are disabled. They assume you are stupid. They assume you are a drug addict. Okay? Just like the 5 silos that I gave you before, something has to be wrong with you if you cannot find a job. So, real quickly, let's see if I can rattle them off the top of my head real quickly. Drug addict, mom, veteran, victim of domestic violence, disabled, Hispanic, illegal immigrant. I already said disabled. I already said veteran. Jailbird. What do you call those people? Convict. You can't get an employment because you have a conviction on your record. So you're like a felon, and you have that block. You can't pass a background check. I'm doing this because of fingerprints. So if you see me doing this, it's not an autistic thing, guys. You see me doing this, it means fingerprints, and that's because of this. I play games with my mouth, and I play games with words, back in the day when my mom died in 2018. I'm sure you can see old videos of me when I had longer hair and living at the other place where I used to live with my mom. I'm sure she might have been on the video somewhere or something, but I used to play mouth games. I used to play word games, not mouth games. Face yoga. No, I'm talking about word games. Paper, mouse, phone, glass case, magnifying glass. Okay, I use what is this? A case or a tube? It's a tube. Candle. It's a candle. So I used to play these words, and my mom died of Alzheimer's at 65. Okay. She died February 3rd, 2018. Go back and watch all the videos that I used to do back then. Okay. I have a lot of videos. That's 2008, 2011. I had a following, and they were all atheists because I declared myself an atheist in 2013. And I was like, I'm done with Christianity. I'm an atheist. You can't prove to me that there's a God. And now I'm like totally on the other side. I'm totally on the other side. I'm like totally on the other side, So, to bring it back, when I say this, when I do this, it's not an autism thing. Yes, I believe I have Asperger's syndrome. If I had any videos, I have another channel. I haven't logged into it in a long time. I don't even know how to log into it. I think it's called Sandra Asperger's or something. Yes, that is me. I have another channel, and it's favorites on this channel. And I don't even know how to get in, but I have like 3 or 4 videos on Asperger's, and I still believe I have it. I just don't talk about it. It's like, okay, fine. I believe I have it. Fine. Can we move on, please? Can I live my life, please? So if you have a background, a jailbird, whatever you want to call it, I call it jailbird. Conviction. You can't pass a background check. You can't pass your live scan. Live scan is the new word for fingerprinting. You can't pass it. That is something wrong with you. That means, you can't get a job because you're a mom. You can't get a job because you're disabled. You can't get a job because you're disabled, or you're a mom, or you're Hispanic, and they will, Riverside County 211 will ask you these questions. Are you a mom? Are you disabled? Are you Hispanic? Are you, over 55? Why do I always forget that one? It's like, you can't work. Now you're 55 and old and decrepit. What the fuck, man? Are you kidding me? You telling me you can't work because you're you're 55 and you're old? That's bullshit. There are people that are 75 and they can't retire. They cannot retire. They have to work because they're only getting $1,200 a month or $1,300 a month in Social Security. They can't afford it. They need to make $2 or $3 or $4 grand a month. So you got to fit in one of those silos. And if you're not a drunk, you're not an addict, you're not a mom, you're not the victim of domestic violence, you're not a convict because your background check's fine. You're not a drunk, addict. You're not a victim of domestic violence. You're not Hispanic. You're not an illegal immigrant. All these silos, you're not going to get the help you need from Riverside County 211. So, not everybody has family. Not everybody has a family. And I was told you're going to keep on calling churches, Sandra, for help with a GoFundMe account, because I have a GoFundMe account, and I ask people, can you help me with my rent? Can you help me with my rent? I tell people I'm looking for work. Are you hiring? I called churches. Are you hiring? Are you hiring? Are you hiring? I need to work. I need to work. And they're like, oh, what do you need? I'm like, I just said I need to work. I need to pay my rent. I need to pay my rent, but I have more than just rent. And they don't look at you like a human being. They don't look at you like, oh, you have car insurance. They look at you like, well, we can give you food. What do you expect them to do? Really? Because there's a stereotype of people. Well, if you can't pay your rent, you must be a drug addict. You must be stupid. You must be retarded. You must be something wrong with you. No, it is the AI. It is the applicant trashing system. It is the fact that employers put up ghost jobs. They're not intending to hiring because Joe Smo has not quit. Joe Smo has not been promoted yet. He didn't die. He didn't get promoted. He didn't leave. He didn't get hired somewhere else. He's staying with that job. And that company and a million other companies around the nation are not taking their job posting down, and they're not intending on hiring. There's nothing wrong with people and the job applicant. It is the employer. That's what's wrong. The CEOs, there's a white collar hire freeze where there's all these CEOs. I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, and they're just cutting these administrative assistants. And I guess I see a lot of people that are like, I'm an HR professional out of work. I was making $200,000 a year. Now I'm making $18 an hour and doing this. And I'm just like, what? There's HR professionals that are out of work and they can't find another job getting paid $80,000 a year. They were making $200,000 a year and they can't find a job making $80,000 or $90,000 a year. And now they're doing something else and they're making $19 or $18 an hour. I mean, that's not even 40 grand a year, guys. It's not even 40 grand a year, so if you really want to get your face known because you are applying to job boards and job applications, this is what you got to do. You better keep your mouth shut. And you better open it up in one way and then pretend to be somebody else in another. So certain companies will do this. Now, not all, but certain companies, you got to have a really good memory. I have a really good long-term memory. My long-term memory is perfect. You tell me something from 3, 4, 5 years ago, I'm probably going to remember. You tell me something a week ago, I'm probably not going to remember. So this company that I called Saturday, I called this company. It's in Hemet. I thought it was 20 miles away. It's not. It's 14 miles one way. But if you have a limited amount of money in your bank account and you only get 6 months of unemployment, some states have 12 weeks of unemployment. And if you can't find a job within 12 weeks, you're screwed. Unless you have a husband that pays. And believe me, I have a lot of contempt for women that have a husband that works and the wife doesn't have to work. They just work because they want to. Believe me, I am aware of the contempt and I am working on it. I'm aware. I've been doing a lot of shadow work. I know. And that I have to work on that contempt. I do not like people that do not have to work. If you're lazy and you're disabled and you don't have to work and you're just getting money, there's a lot of people that fake their disability. They do. I don't know how they get it. I don't know how they get their disability, but there's a lot of people that do fake it. And I don't know how they do it, but they do it. And I'm not disabled. I'm not going to lie about a disability that I don't have when I know that I can work. And there's not jobs like this is not a good fit over here, but okay, fine. I'm a better fit over here. There's something that I can do. There's something that I can fix. And it's up to me to find out how to articulate that to companies. So if you're going to call companies like I do, you better learn how to shut up and learn when to speak and when not to speak and become somebody different. You have to. So if you're like me, no mom, no dad, well, stepdad died in 04, no brothers, no sisters. There are no aunts. There are no uncles. My mom was basically an only child. When her mom when my mom was born in 1952, her half sister was 18, living on her own already. So 52, 42, 32. No, I don't know when my aunt was born. 32, I don't know when my aunt was born. I'm not really sure. But maybe my aunt was born 1934 or 1932 or something like that. But my aunt was 18, living on her own, out of the house when my mom was born in 1952. How in the world did my aunt do it? Maybe she was married. She could have gotten married when she was 18 and, went with a guy and he supported her. I have no idea. I don't know the story about that. I can't ask my aunt because she's deceased too. But so my mom grew up as a single child. My mom basically had really no brothers or sisters or anything like that. And my biological father died in 2013 or 2023. Sorry. He wasn't close to his sisters. I definitely was not close to my aunts, all in Texas. And my stepdad died in 04. I wasn't close to his family. Not at all. So, you better find an identity and change your identity and change the story of who you think you are. Because I called this company about a year ago and I applied, and they said the same thing to me a year ago as they did today. And I forgot that they told me this. And the minute I heard this guy say that, I went, oh no. I was like, this is the same company that told me to do this a year ago. And they're 14 miles away from me. And when you only have, maybe $400 or $300, or maybe you have $600 in your bank account, and whatever, doesn't matter what the amount is. It could be $1,000. It could be $200. The amount is irrelevant. Okay. If you know that money has to go for your one credit card bill that you've never been late on in 7 years, ever, and it's just you paying it. You don't have a husband. You don't have a wife. You don't have adult kids paying for it. And you have to pay that credit card coming up in about a week. And then you have your car insurance coming up in one day. You got to pay that car insurance in one day. So you can't take the money out for gas. You got to leave the money in your bank account for that car insurance payment. And then you got to leave that other money in there for that phone bill coming up in a week. And then you got to leave the other money in there for like 2 weeks from now for that one credit card bill. And the amount is irrelevant. Who cares? It could be a $200 credit card payment that you have to make, and a $200 car insurance, and a $50 bill for your phone bill. It's irrelevant. What is relevant is you need to keep the money in your bank account, and you can't take any money out. You cannot take money out, because then you're probably going to not be able to pay your car insurance that's due in a day, and your other bills that are due whenever they are due. If you don't have any wiggle room, you don't have any wiggle room, right? So you better learn to change your identity, because this happened when I called this company this morning, and I said, hey, I called on Saturday. I asked for this person. I said, I'm looking for the hiring manager because I applied to 5 different positions with your company. I applied to the sales position. There was a consultant position. There was an administrative assistant position. There was a porter position. And there was another position I can't remember. And I said, I don't know if you're the hiring manager, but I'm wondering if you got my application. And he said immediately, you know what? If you would like to come down here and show your resume and talk to one of us, you're more than welcome to come down and talk to one of us. And I said, ooh, And I caught myself immediately. It was immediately. I said, ooh, how am I going to be able to get down there? And I said that out loud. Really? Why would no? Why would I do that? Why would I say something like that? I was not aware in that moment when I said, how am I going to be able to get down there? That is what I mean by shut up, keep your thoughts inside, shut up, because nobody knows what you're thinking if you keep your mouth shut. Nobody knows what you're thinking. So I said, well, let me ask you this. What is a good day to come by? And he said, any day just before 4 p.m. And he goes, you can ask for me, you can ask for my coworker. And I'm like, oh, is your coworker Nguyen? And he goes, Adam. And I said, all right, Adam, perfect. Great. Adam. So, if you're not sure that you're going to have the gas money because you don't have a friend to ask, do you have $5-10 to where I can get to blah 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 for this, you better either not call the company or you better pretend like you have the money. Like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, you want me to come in? Okay. What's a good day to come in? They say any day before 4. Great. Thank you so much for the information. Have a good day. Bye. That's it. You better fake your shit like it's no one's business. You better pretend to be somebody else. And you're thinking, well, how could I pretend to be somebody else when I got the bills piling up and I see this bill in front of me and I got utilities and I don't have the income, and I just don't have the income, and I'm looking for work and can't seem to be doing anything, and I'm going out there saying, hey, I'm a electrician, or I'm a whatever, I'm a plumber, I'm a baker, I'm a candlestick maker, and putting my ads out and nobody's hiring me, and whatever you do, I'm a concrete layer, whatever. And I'm just people not wanting to pay me for my services. They don't have money to pay me for my services, whatever it may be. And you're just thinking, I don't know how you either better not call the company or pretend that you have the money and say, thank you very much for the information. I will be there. See you later. I'll be there on Tuesday, or pick a day. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter what day it is. You say, great. Thank you for the information. Bye. Do not attach to your identity of who you think you are or who you think you were or the story that you are telling yourself. But there's no way I can get down there. My husband needs the car that day for work. We only have one car between us, and he's off on he's off on Mondays and Tuesdays, and I have all this other stuff to do and these appointments to do Monday and Tuesday, and I won't be able to get down there Monday and Tuesday. I have all this other stuff to do, and the only free day I have is Wednesday, and my husband goes back to work on Wednesday. Whatever story it is you're telling yourself, you better find another story. You better find it, and you better own it, because this guy, I can tell you, this guy that I was talking to on the phone this morning, I can tell from his tone of voice, he wasn't having any of it. And all I said was, ooh, I'm not sure when I'm going to be able. You want me to come down in person? Because my next question was, have you looked at my application? Is there any way I can get a phone interview? But he cut it off. He cut that off real quick. He didn't even allow me to go there and ask that question. Can I get a phone interview? No. And that happened a year ago with the same company. He said, if you want to come down and show us your resume, you can. And I remember going to the company, and it was, maybe it was 2 years ago. It could have been 2023. Actually, I think it was 2023. Yeah, it was 2023 that I went down there. And I remember going in, and I remember waiting around for about an hour or two before seeing anybody. It could have been an hour, and just, didn't really get anything done. Nothing really productive came of that. So now, because I'm going back to that experience that I had from 2023, or it could have been 2022, I'm thinking, you know, eh, because they treated me so poorly the last time I was there waiting. I was waiting for an hour or two just to talk to someone. It's like, after being treated like that by a company, you really don't want to be treated like that again. It's just not a good feeling of having to wait around an hour or two. Like, maybe I'll go down there when I'm in that town doing something different. So if I'm going down there for, say, a job fair in later in March, or later in the month of February or something, I can go down there at that time and say, you know what? I talked to this gentleman, the sales manager. He asked me to drop my resume off. I'm dropping my resume off. Here you go. He can call me when he's available. That's it. Because I'm not waiting an hour or two. I'm not wasting my time like I did 2 years ago, just waiting around there, twiddling my thumbs, hoping somebody's going to give me an interview. And all they did was, oh, yeah, thank you. Great. Thank you. We'll call you. Bye. It's like, that's all you did? Well, I could have just left it and skedaddled out of there instead of you squandering and wasting my time. So, you got to be really, really careful. I mean, that guy, once I said, ooh, I don't know if I have gas money to get down there. You think they care where you live? They don't care. So, I'm just, this particular company, I'm probably not going to go down there waiting around for an interview. I'm just not going to do it. I'll drop off my resume. I'll do that when I'm down there doing something else in that city. I'm not just going to go down there just for that one thing. I'm not going to, if I have to go down there for something else, I will do everything I need to do in that city that one day. And I'll say, here's my resume. I applied to these positions. I'm going to list them on the, all those positions on the back of my resume, or I'll just list them on the front. That's what I applied for. There you go. Can you give that to the hiring manager and let them know that I came by? Have a good day. Bye. That way, I'm not wasting my time sitting there for an hour or two. Am I negative? No, I think it's a double standard. I really think it's a double standard of employers. They want you to give them a 2-week notice for when you're leaving, but they can give you the boot the same day. Well, excuse me. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense where an employer wants you to give them a 2-week notice, but they can say, oh, I'm sorry, Josephine, but I know you've been here for 10 years and you're so good, but I know it's Monday, but we're going to have to let you go, and we're going to have to let you go today. Like, I don't understand that at all. So people aren't lazy. They just don't want to work for free. People aren't lazy. It's not that people don't want to work anymore. They want to work, but they want to be respected. And I'm super, super excited for today because the full moon is in Leo. So if you're looking at it from an Aquarius rising, That's in my 7th house. So that's shining a light on my relationships. So I'm like, wow, what is going to come about with my relationships over the next few days? But if I'm looking at from my sun sign, okay, then it's shining a light on my resources, like my assets, my money, my income, because Leo's in my 2nd house because I'm a sun Cancer, but I'm an Aquarius rising, so I could look at it. Is it going to affect my relationships more? It's shining a light because it's a full moon, shining a light in that 7th house of relationships. And I don't know. Is there something going to come up that is a surprise? I don't know. Not sure. Is there going to be something that comes up with income? I have no idea. But I'm excited. I'm just taking a different look at the way I have to look at the job market, and taking a different look at how I have to look at myself. This is a period of shifting for me. This is a period of really looking at the story, the narrative that I've been telling myself. And at this point in time, it was a 56-minute video. I was a lot longer than I had expected. A lot longer than I had expected. But I really wanted to go into the whole, don't call churches. If you're looking to find someone to pick, because believe me, on LinkedIn, you think it's a whole bunch of professionals, man. There's a lot of people begging for money. There's a lot of people begging for money. A lot. I'm talking about people that, when I worked at Verizon, I made $4,000 or $5,000 a month, guys. Come on. I think I made $27,000 in 6 months. I worked there for 10 months, from May 23 to March 24. And we all knew we were getting laid off in March. We all knew a month in advance. So, man, my short-term memory. Wow, it's gone. It's gone. I picked up my phone to do something with it, and I can't remember that's what I mean by short-term memory. Gone, because it's in my hand. And it's just gone. I was looking at it for some reason, and I wanted to share something, and it's totally gone. Okay, I was talking about Leo. I was talking about 7th house. I was talking about Cancer and Leo moon being in the 2nd house of income. And I was talking about your identity. Oh, I can't remember what was I going to say? I don't remember. I just don't remember what I was going to say. But yeah, if you want to call people, you better freaking be ready for anything. You better be ready for some prizes, because you don't know if companies are going to say, yeah, come down here, drop off your resume if you want. Drop off your resume. And some companies, gotta be careful. Some companies will tell you, if you call, well, we're not going to be looking at any applications or anything like that until after the holiday. Or if you want to wait, if it's March, if you want to wait until March 15th, fine. But if you applied back February 15th, well, we're not going to look at any applications until after March 15th. And you just got to know the culture. You just really got to know. If you are bold and you're not scared, and you're like, I'm going to march in there anyway and give them my resume anyway, and that's not what they do, and you have that confidence, more power to you, man. Shoot. More power to you. All that wand energy, all that fire wand energy. I'm saying wand because I'm studying tarot, and I'm studying mysticism, and tarot is attached to astrology, so I'm still studying that. So that's confidence, is all that fire energy, and just saying, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it. Action. And Be ready for anything when you call. I do not waste my time with job boards anymore at all. Even somebody on LinkedIn, it was an executive on LinkedIn that said, if you want a job, you need to make your presence known. You got to start calling business executives. You need to let us know who you are, when you applied, and you better start calling us and letting us know your name and letting us know that you exist when we get 500 applications for one job opening. And then there's another job opening and we get 600 job applications for that. And there's another job opening and we get 200 for that. And we're only looking at the first 10 people that apply. Yeah, a business executive said that on LinkedIn. That to me, if they're saying that, like, how many other business executives are thinking the same thing, but they're not telling anybody? Well, if they're not calling, they don't want the job. So, that took an hour, and I did not mean for that to take an hour, but I thought it was really important to go into the whole call churches thing. And, I was told, if you continue to call churches, Sandra, they're going to continue to say, we'll give you food. They're going to continue to say, we'll give you food, not cash, because they're assuming that you're a drug addict. They're assuming that you are disabled. These churches do not understand what it means to be at risk for homelessness. They do not understand the job market. They only deal with people that are homeless, and they assume everybody that's homeless is a drug addict. And it's really sad. It is a stereotype. It really is sad. They think everybody with a mental illness is on the street. Like, if you're mentally ill, you must be homeless. And if you're homeless, you must be mentally ill. And that's not true. There are people losing their homes, losing their apartments. They're doing Uber. Believe me, if I could do Uber, I would. But I have 3 bald tires, and they are 19-inch tires. So that's when you need to get creative and find out, what do I love to do, and make money doing it. I finally got a new phone number, and you guys can't see it. I can bring it up, but I got a new phone number. See if I can bring it up here. What day did I? You're not going to be able to see it because it's backwards. Let's see where it is. Where I took a screenshot of it and I share it on my. Instagram. There it is, February 1st. So it's backwards, guys. I think. Is it backwards? I don't know. Oh, God, you guys can't see it. Oh, God. Okay. Oh, God. That is horrible. Look at that. You guys can't even. Wow. Let's see. Nothing. Nada. Nothing. Look at that. Maybe it's not. Yeah, that is really bad. Wow. Maybe if I turn the it's still, wow. Is it any better? No. Wow, that is something. Is it any better? Now you can see it. 951-667-1299. So I got, yeah, you can see it barely right there, right? 951-667-1299. Yeah, you can see it now. There you go. 667-1299. 951-667-1299. I probably need to save this as a picture on my phone and then transfer it to my, maybe take a screenshot of it and save it to Microsoft Word, Microsoft, and then upload it that way to YouTube. But you can see it now. 667-12. You see that? Yeah, 667-1299. So brand new number. And I post this on Instagram and on Facebook. You can't, I don't think they'll allow you to post this number on Nextdoor. I do know if you have a GoFundMe account and it's your own fundraiser, you cannot post your own fundraiser on GoFundMe. I believe you might be able to post someone else's GoFundMe account, but you cannot post your own GoFundMe account. So don't quote me on that with GoFundMe with Nextdoor. I don't know if you can post somebody else's fundraiser. Maybe you can. But on Nextdoor, you cannot post your own. Because if you do, and I do have a GoFundMe account. I do. Sandra Gregston 22 is my Venmo. But 951-667-1299 is the phone number. It's $3.99 a minute. But you got to be really careful if you are doing a GoFundMe account for yourself. You just got to be very careful because the Nextdoor will take it down. And if you go on LinkedIn, everybody has a GoFundMe account on LinkedIn. There is a white collar hiring freeze. And I'm not really sure. I was told CEOs are just being greedy and they just don't want to spend the money on admin assistants. And if HR professionals are being like laid off, like, I don't understand really. I don't really understand why. Let's see. I'm just looking to see if I can find anything on LinkedIn. I don't think so. A brag book. Yeah. This person says have a brag book. Document every time you have an accomplishment at your job. Yeah, you're going to want that. Whenever you finish a project, solve a problem, get a message from a colleague, jot it down in your brag book. Yeah. Yeah. There are people on here that just constantly say, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I have experience in. Here's my GoFundMe. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I have experience in. Here's my Cash App. Here's my GoFundMe. Here's my Venmo. It's just, it really is. LinkedIn has changed so much just in the last 2 or 3 years, just since like 2022. It's just so different. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this new energy. I don't know what it's going to bring with relationships, but the full moon in Leo, because it's 7 signs past Aquarius, is shining a light on my relationships. And I look forward to seeing what's going on with that. And I think I'm done. I think I made my point. Be ready for some shifts. If you're going to be calling companies and you have no income and you have only a little bit of money in your bank account, you better pretend like you have more and be ready to drive. If you're going to be asked to drive to the company to drop off your resume, just be ready for that. And I got to go. See you later, guys.